Morty Smith has faced intergalactic horrors, killer aliens, and Rick's chaos, but nothing wrecks him harder than love. For a 14-year-old kid, Morty sure has met a lot of girls while on his home planet or while traveling with Rick. Whether it's pursuing someone who ultimately doesn't return the favor or succeeding in getting into a relationship, things always go wrong for the loves in Morty's life. Here's a ranking of all women who captured Morty's heart based on storyline, character memorability, and their effect on Morty in general. 1. Ella is a character original and exclusive to Rick and Morty. The anime. She is a girl who has the power to control and manipulate time. She doesn't appear to age the same as everyone else, despite appearing human. In the VR simulated world where she married Morty, her appearance doesn't appear to change much after spending many years together with Morty, and even after her own child is grown into a teenager, implying that a good 15 or 20 years have passed in that world. While this might be due to the limitations of simulation, though Morty and Beth have both been shown to have visibly aged in that version of the world. 2. Stacy. Before Jacqueline, Morty hooked up with another older woman in Rest and Relaxation. Positive Morty charmed Stacy when meeting her in a bar shortly after Jessica left their date. In a short amount of time, they developed a strong relationship. However, later at the garage, it turns out Rick created a device to merge him and Morty's toxic selves back together. She gets both Rick and Morty out of the tank after Morty says their safe word, sea cucumber, and it actually sends her to the toxic world. What elevates Stacy's character is that she was finally released from the toxic tank 3 weeks later when a tour guide activated it. That moment makes a hilarious payoff for a girl who was just enjoying her time at the bar before meeting Morty.
What the hell is this?
Sea cucumber! Sea cucumber!
Third, Melody. Melody was a girl who Morty ran into on his visit to the Blumbus dimension. She brought him home with her, but she was later killed by Mr. Chimney before she could bake and eat Morty. Before met Morty, Melody served in the military in a foreign area. Her Humvee was hit by an IED, and the military and her parents thought she was dead. She somehow got back to her hometown in time to celebrate Blumbus. Melody met Morty when he ran her down running away from Mr. Chimney. She fell in love with him and said that she was all alone on Blumbus Eve in order for Morty to feel pity for her. Melody brought Morty to her home, where she was greeted first by her little sister, then by her crying parents, who were so happy to see her again. Morty tried to back out, feeling a little uncomfortable in the middle of Melody's family reunion, but they insisted he join them for dinner. Melody then brought Morty up in her room and tried to kiss him while saying how they would eat Morty after Melody had intercourse with him. Frightened, Morty tried to escape, but Melody's parents and sister kept him from leaving. Before they could bake Morty, however, Mr. Chimney sent a sonic scream through the family's chimney and disintegrated them. Somehow only Morty remained. Fourth, Planetina. Planetina is an elemental-themed superheroine determined to protect the Earth. She was created by the Tina Tears using the 4 elemental rings: fire, water, dirt, and air. Planetina catches Morty's attention when she stops an evil rat alien named Diesel Weasel. Morty promptly asks her on a date, to which she accepts. After a fire, Morty confesses how he likes her, and she is flattered before introducing him to her children, who treat her like an item. She soon has an interview with the media until becoming surprised when Morty states they are a couple. Planetina and Morty officially become a couple after a series of dates. However, the Tina Tears are annoyed by the relationship and want to get rid of Morty for Planetina to focus on making them profits. This causes Morty to go on a murder spree of the Tina Tears and their potential customers until he obtains their rings. Now free, she and Morty want to be together, but his mother forbids it, causing Morty to leave home. While trying to save the Earth with Morty without the Tina Tears to rein her in, Planetina's behavior starts to become increasingly violent, starting with slashing the tires on a highway full of cars, and then burning down a congressman's home with a petrol bomb, which begins to horrify Morty. Afterwards, at a mining facility, the two confront a group of miners who are about to go underground, while Planetina is telling them what their actions are doing to the planet. But they refuse to listen and proceed underground to resume their mining. Although Morty says they'll get them next time, Planetina flies into a fit of rage and burns the entire mining facility to the ground, resulting in the deaths of 300 people, while Morty watches in tears. These actions cause Morty to decide to tearfully end their relationship amid Planetina's attempts to justify her actions at the mine from his bedroom window. She also brings up how he killed the Teenateers, while he states he killed them because they were just going to sell her away and only wanted her free. Planetina then confesses her love for him, but he sadly rejects her declaration. Distraught at the rejection, she tearfully curses Morty out before flying away into the night, heartbroken, leaving Beth to comfort her heartbroken son. She does not appear in Solarix, but is certainly killed along with the rest of the world by Mr. Frundles.
Wait, but I thought he was Mr. Frundles.
Everybody in the car, now!
I'm Mr. What the f***, Dad? Why would you bring that thing into our house?
It was cute, We gotta find a new timeline now. You know how hard that shit is without portals? We gotta do the thing with the rift and the beacon again. The whole f***ing episode all over again. Car, fabricate some vomit bags.
Can't we just go back and fix it?
Daphna was a female alien who worked at the farm of Rick in the warmonger Rick dimension. When she led a revolution against Rick, Morty prevented her from shooting him, leading her to be speared on a pitchfork. Daphna grew up in a war-torn dimension during the Great Struggle, a war which Rick started in order to recruit cheap labor from the inhabitants of the dimension to meet the new demands for food in the post-war world. Losing her parents and siblings in the war, she grew to hate Rick and wish for his death. After the war, she started working at Rick's farm along with the remainder of her tribe. She met Morty shortly after he was fetched by Rick to infiltrate the revolutionaries and feed him information. After his first day in the field, she invited him to their cabin to drink and socialize. She would then take him to an old warehouse and show him the relics from the Great War. She finally convinced Morty that Rick was the enemy by showing him an old propaganda poster of Rick from the war. She led the revolution the next night, but when she aimed to shoot Rick, Morty shoved her in order for her to miss. Accidentally, he shoved her onto a pitchfork, where he left her bleeding and dying on the ground. The Rick in that dimension died from the gunshot wound, and the revolution continued. 6th Annie. Annie was a member of Dr. Zenenblum's team and was apparently working at a churro stand in Anatomy Park. During their escape, she is the first to be suspected to be behind the failing security systems until it is revealed that Poncho is the culprit. She later grows fond of Morty after he saves the group from gonorrhea and attacks Poncho when he turns on the group. She became a love interest for Morty. He had a crush on her upon meeting, feeling the need to press that he was 14 and not 12, as Poncho accused him of. However, she still initially overlooked him. After seeing him show reckless acts of bravery, she fell for him, and the two were seen making out inside Ruben until Rick devised the plan of enlarging Ruben and them escaping out the nipple hole. After she and Morty escape Ruben's corpse, she tells Rick how she was studying Dr. Bloom's work, and she believes she is capable of building a new park. After she admits that Pirates of the Pancreas was underrated, Rick shrinks her back down so she can lead the work on a new anatomy park inside Ethan. Morty is very distressed by Rick shrinking her, as he thought they might have something special. However, according to Rick, he dodged a bullet as she has a puffy vagina. During the events of Rick Potion number 9, everyone on Earth in the Prime Dimension, except for Morty and his relatives, get turned into Cronenbergs by Rick. Those infected may have included Ethan, and since Annie was last seen inside of him, the Cronenberging most likely had a negative impact on her and the anatomy park there, leaving her fate unknown. However, a version of her from Dimension C131 exists, having gone through the same events as her Prime Dimension counterpart, and currently resides within this dimension's version of Ethan. Ethan was later mutated by Morty, using the Morphizer XE as revenge for dumping Summer for another girl. How this affected Annie and the others constructing the new park inside him is not known.
You can put your fingers wherever you want.
Morty, you want to put it on mute or something? I'm trying to concentrate.
Rick,
Not now, Jerry. I've got much smaller fish to fry.
I wanted to say I'm sorry I ever judged you. Right now, you're my sanest relative.
Relative size. Jerry, hand me a scalpel and a bundle of dynamite. Morty, can you get to the left nipple?
Are you kidding? I'm hoping I can get to both of them, Rick.
No, Morty, I'm talking about Ruben's left nipple.
7. Jacqueline. In Rest and Relaxation, Morty was deprived of all his negativity by an alien spa, turning him into the ideal human being. Rick tried to inject him with his negativity again, but Morty escaped on a jetpack and moved to New York, where he worked as a stockbroker, bought a high-class apartment, and landed a gorgeous redhead known as Jacqueline Ho. Jacqueline lived in Morty's apartment and had a perfect relationship with him. She also worked a job of her own as a public fundraiser speaker for biotech-related businesses. She felt remorse that one of her fundraisers was going to cut into her time for dating Morty, to the point that she was willing to cancel the event just to be with him. When Jessica made a phone call to Morty, he failed to hang up. This may have been intentional, making the call over a minute long, allowing Rick to trace his location and find him. He invaded Morty's home, injected him with the negativity, and turned him back to normal again. Morty had to break it off with Jacqueline. While he did, Jacqueline explained how he managed to win her over, with not only being the model of a perfect man, but also because of his unending honesty, and she considered him to be a soulmate. When Morty gave up his life with her, he left her with ownership of the apartment, where she apparently still currently resides. Not much is shown of Jacqueline's personality in her short appearance, other than that she cares very deeply for Morty. She never has any conflict with him during her 45 seconds or so on screen, and doesn't seem to have even a shred of unironic jealousy over him. Talking to what she believes to be his ex-girlfriend over the phone, she seems to consider Morty her soulmate and sees him as the best thing that's ever happened to her, since he dispenses happiness, fun, comfort, wisdom, wealth, shelter, security, and love for her. This, however, would be creepy and pedophilic considering their age gap, since Morty is a 14-year-old boy, and that the average age of consent in America is 16th. Strangely enough, she managed to take him, leaving her very well, suggesting the reason the two were so good for each other was because they were so open.
I miss you.
You miss the old me. You miss someone that loved you so much you never had to love him back.
How do you know I don't want to love you?
Because I'm not sick.
Ex-girlfriend? Should I be jealous?
There's nothing to be jealous of.
I just realized that I'm scheduled to speak at that fundraiser on our date night. I can cancel.
We'll be together. That's a date.
You are the perfect man. Oh, sweetie, I think you hit the wrong button. You didn't hang up.
Huh. How about that?
Sorry, tiny American psycho. Time to take the opposite of your medicine.
Do what you gotta do.
So, how do you feel, Morty?
Oh, jeez. I'm miserable.
Am I good or what?
I guess it's worth it, though, to know how much you care.
Care? Me? Morty, I'm fine with you. I only did this for him.
You lying bitch! She kept coming to our house, Morty, and asking me, did you get a new Morty yet?
Because you kept drunk dialing me and crying about it.
I wasn't crying!
Jacqueline,
I didn't care.
I wasn't who I said I was.
You weren't a 14-year-old boy from the Midwest who ran away from his family and capitalized on his lack of conscience by becoming a stockbroker?
Oh, I guess I was pretty upfront about that, wasn't I?
You were upfront about everything. You were my soulmate.
Yadinchi Arthricia. Out of all of Morty's love interests, Arthricia, the cat person, has the most interesting background and is proof that Morty is willing to enter an interspecies relationship. She stars in the season 2 episode Look Who's Purging Now, where she lives on the Purge planet but is strongly against it. After being rescued from the Purge by Rick and Morty, she goes from a damsel in distress to a compelling character by stealing their ship. It's all part of her plan to exact revenge on the wealthy elite who oversee the Purge, and Rick and Morty join in on her cause. After all the action and destruction, Morty finally tries to ask Arthricia out, but she immediately lets him know that she has a boyfriend. Hopefully, Arthricia can become single in the future and return to go out with Morty.
Now's your last chance.
Hey, Arthricia. Maybe I could.
Yeah, I have a boyfriend.
Okay.
I'm not trying to be rude. I don't want to lead you on.
I understand.
I mean, thank you so much for helping end the festival, but I have a boyfriend, and
Okay, you can stop saying it. I took it okay the first time, and now you're just repeating stuff.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Oh, you're so sweet. But I can't.
Yeah, you're still doing it?
It won't be easy.
9. Unnamed Morty's girlfriend. Little is known about her, as she only appears in a single episode, for 4 minutes of a montage with no dialogue and a brief return near the end. She is a bookish only child of late middle-aged parents. Meeting outside a coffee shop, she and Morty quickly started a relationship after the latter created a save point before making his move on her. Because the relationship went smoothly at first, Morty had no reason to return to his saved point, and thus the two spent a lot of time together. They had their ups and downs, and at one point broke up, but soon missed each other and reunited. The two of them were then involved in a plane crash in Arctic conditions. Nobody knew where they were, leaving Morty to go out and seek help. After he succeeded in doing so, she was happy to be home with Morty, until Jerry mistook the reset device for a TV remote and accidentally returned him to the point just before they met. Upon seeing the girl again outside the coffee shop, a bewildered Morty tried to get her to recognize him, but she was actually a near duplicate, equally probable version of her pre-Morty self, and saw him only as a crazy, babbling stranger. When he touched her cheek, she pepper-sprayed him and ran away. Collapsing in pain, Morty fell onto the reset remote and created a new save point of her mecking his face, thus ruining his chance at another shot with his former girlfriend. Later in the episode, her memories of Morty were restored after Rick merged all his alternate dimensions. In the ensuing public outcry, she also would have learned of the bad things Morty did in those dimensions, but this did not destroy her feelings for him. When SWAT teams and a mob of protesters descended on Morty's house, she pushed her way to the front of the crowd and saw him jump into the vat of fake acid. Believing he was really dead, she ran away distraught. She is caring and for the most part was quite happy with Morty. Apparently, she was a loner before being charmed by Morty at the coffee shop. She enjoys reading in her room, has no visible friends, and, as we later discover, packs pepper spray for protection. At the restaurant, waiting for Morty to meet her parents, she looked nervous and distracted, then confidently introduced him when he arrived. From the start, Morty brought out an extrovert and even assertive side to her otherwise mild personality. She has a sense of humor. At least Morty made her laugh, and apparently so did Beth. She appears interested in astronomical subjects. Her bedroom is decorated with a hanging display of the solar system and posters of outer space. A string of Christmas lights along the ceiling is arranged to give the impression of stars. She also has a planetary image on her phone. During their separation, Morty wins her back by surprising her with tickets for a trip to see the Northern Lights, Aurora Borealis, an atmospheric phenomenon she seems eager to experience. On a more earthly level, the vinyl LPs and guitar picture on her wall suggest she likes classic indie rock music. She later keeps a photo of Morty, striking a sexy pose, on her nightstand. She is physically strong when she needs to be. During the plane crash, she saves Morty's life literally single-handed and survives the brutal aftermath. She has no problem defending herself, a fact Morty learns to his regret, and when a fireman tries to block her way, she shoves him aside to get her last glimpse of Morty before he dies.
Damn it!
I'm sorry, what did you say?
Going in the vat!
Oh, God. Oh, I blame myself. Oh, what a tragedy.
Gishonta Jessica. Jessica W2 of Dimension C-131 was a student at Harry Herpson High School. She was a popular girl in Morty Smith's math class who he had a crush on. Much to Morty's dismay, she was frequently in a relationship with Brad, though she experienced difficulties with him, and the two had been shown to have an on-again, off-again relationship, which finally ended in rest and relaxation, with Jessica breaking up with Brad. Despite her relationship with Brad, Jessica had shown interest in Morty at several points, although the two were never able to fully commit to anything due to Morty's sci-fi adventures getting in the way. This would culminate in Jessica accidentally being transported to the Narnia dimension and spending an indeterminate amount of time frozen in place, yet fully conscious. This changed Jessica's perception of time and space, meaning she could no longer connect with Morty. In Solarix, Jessica is killed, along with the entire human population of Dimension C-131 by Mr. Frundles. The Smith family managed to escape the dimension to live in the Parmesan dimension, which is a dimension where the word Parmesan is said differently, and Jessica's experience with the Narnia dimension never happened, meaning that version of Jessica can still connect with Morty.
Glimpsed into the mind of eternity, perhaps the mind of God, and found nothing but silence. I think we should just be friends.
Oh, yeah, I get that. Guess we missed our moment.
Yes, but there will be more for both of us. Goodbye, Morty.
Hey, how's it going?
Fuck off, I'm a time god!
After analyzing every dimension of Morty's tragic love life, from his painful Earth crushes to his catastrophic cosmic flings, we've ranked all his romantic failures. But now it's your turn to settle the debate once and for all. Was Planetina truly Morty's most devastating heartbreak, or just his messiest? Does Jessica deserve more sympathy for enduring Morty's cringy obsession? Should Arthricia, the Purge Planet Catgirl, have ranked higher? And for the hardcore fans, what about comic-exclusive flames like Annika or Noelle Goldenfold? We've covered the major heartbreaks, but the multiverse is infinite. Did we miss any obscure or unseen flings? Maybe an alternate reality Morty who actually got the girl? Drop your hottest takes below. Who was worst for Morty? Which romance deserved more screen time? Any underrated crushes we overlooked? Debate your rankings, call out our picks, and if you've got evidence of deeper lore, comics, deleted scenes, or Rick-level over-analysis, school us in the comments. And if you want more brutally honest Rick and Morty breakdowns, because let's face it, we all need to cope with Season 7 somehow, hit subscribe. The universe isn't going to analyze itself. Final warning, if you simp for fart, yes, the methane-based life form, you'd better bring receipts.